Hey man, how you
Hey.
doing? We here with Kayla Joy. My name is One Forever with Always Forever Media. It's been a long time coming. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing amazing today. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's pretty nice
Good.
outside.
It
Know
is
what I'm saying?
beautiful. It's
Weather's checking
beautiful.
back in. Springtime
Finally.
finally pulled up on us.
Right.
What was good with you? Anything new?
Just been working on music, writing a lot, not really performing as much. But yeah, just trying to go for a different route with my music as far as content. Just want to talk about more real stuff in my music. So yeah, that's where I'm trying to go with it.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been doing music?
Oh my goodness. I've been doing music since back in the MySpace days, I want to say. I was posting music on MySpace a lot, recording a lot. Um, and so it's probably been like what 10 years, 12 years. So that's pretty much it's been a minute.
Okay. How would you describe your rate of success within those 10 years? Do you feel like you've reached the levels that you would have liked to within that amount of time?
Um, I don't think I have. I haven't reached the point that I see myself reaching. I know that, I'm destined for something great. And so within that 10 years, I feel like, it was a learning process of getting to certain points. I have had successes, but I'm still not at the point that I want to be.
I definitely understand that.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you could have changed during that 10 years that may have placed you closer to where you envisioned yourself being today?
Um, I think my focus could have changed. I let a lot of personal things get in the way of what I was trying to do with my music. Um, and I feel like just taking advantage of every opportunity that comes your way. I may not have taken advantage of every opportunity, and so you never know where I could be right now. But just always just trying to stay consistent. That's what I've been trying to do. But I feel like, yeah, definitely my focus probably played a part in that.
Okay, so who exactly is your support system, and would you say that they contribute to helping you keep your focus?
Well, with my support system, my family is really supportive. They supported me. They traveled out overseas to watch me perform and everything like that when I was on tour. But outside of my family, my closest friends, they're pretty supportive. But it's been hard because sometimes I feel like I'm being slept on a little bit, but I'm still kind of trying to get that real true support system and fan base behind me to support the sound that I have.
Since we speaking on support, well, one, are you from Richmond? And then two, do you feel like you are recognized by the city?
Okay, well, I am from Richmond. Actually, I mean, I've grown up here for a while. I was born in Ohio. I lived in Africa for a little bit, so it's hard to say where I'm from because I've lived so many different places. But with Richmond, I feel like I have gotten some support, but I feel like at the same time, it's not where it could be. I feel like maybe it's because I'm a different, unique artist. People aren't used to my sound. They're not used to just the type of music that I put out, especially here in Richmond. So I feel like it's a little harder to get that support from them.
Yeah, Richmond can definitely be a tough crowd, but pretty much if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And because you've been raised on multiple continents, I'm sure you could speak on that. Tell us about how, being between Richmond and Africa have influenced your style.
I think honestly, I think it played a lot because I'm adopted. So I did grow up in a predominantly white family. So I didn't grow up listening to, the normal R&B or gospel or anything like that. And so I think that is what really plays into my music today is because what I grew up on is not, that R&B soulful sound. So, and that's not what I, put out there.
Wow, okay. So I'm sure growing up in Richmond and being adopted were challenging as is, but can you speak on the experience of being adopted by a white family and how that
Yes.
affected you being a black woman? did it cause you any type of hardships, or
Yeah.
did you experience any type of bias from the peers around you? Like, how did that feel? What was that like?
Yes. It definitely, it's a different path to walk, I feel like. It gives me hardships because I feel like, certain people don't fully understand me. And then also, just with everything that's going on in the world, I have an older brother who's white. I have a younger brother who's black. So I have to, either one of them could walk down the street and get stereotyped. And it's just been really hard to deal with that, I guess. But it's definitely had its hardships. You can tell just by the way I was raised, even how I talk. People are like, oh, she's different. So
So, are you in contact with your biological parents?
no, I don't. I have no information on my birth father. My birth mom, I have a little bit of information on her. I know, she wasn't going down the right path. She definitely had a lot of other kids before me, and she ended up giving them up to her mother. But when she had me, her mother said she can't take any more kids. So she ended up putting me up for adoption. So it's kind of weird to think that I have all these half brothers and sisters, older brothers and sisters out there who are the same color as me. And so it would be interesting and really like fulfilling, I feel like, to be able to meet them. But yeah.
What particular measures have you gone through to try to find or reach out to them?
Um, I've looked up, the adoption agency that my parents went through. I've looked up the hospital. I've called the hospital, just to get some type of records. But it's all been a dead end. I feel like I'd really have to get like some type of investigator in on it to really find out where
Understood.
they are.
Well, I am truly sorry to hear that that was the situation for you.
Yeah.
A lot of people might take it for granted that they have both parents in their life, but that's not something everyone gets to experience.
Right.
And I'm sure you and others alike can appreciate the adoptive parents who are able to step up for you
Yeah,
and
definitely.
support you. So I want to ask, where exactly did you grow up in Africa?
I grew up in Uganda, and then I also grew up in Kenya. So started out in Uganda, and then we came back here for a little bit, and then went back to Kenya. And I honestly love it better out there than I do here.
Word. Well, I personally haven't created the opportunity to go across the water to the motherland yet, but
Everybody should. I feel like everybody needs to, because it truly like gives a whole different perspective on life, and just it gives you a different appreciation for what you have. So I feel like everyone needs to do it.
so what are some of the experiences one would have in Africa as compared to being here in Richmond?
Um, well, I guess, okay, so I guess here you wake up and you hear birds in the trees. Over there, you wake up and you hear monkeys in the trees. So, like, you hear monkeys, we would go outside and every morning feed them bananas. And you can go out and, like, here they have animals in the zoo. Out there, you can go out in the wild and see the animals, lions, giraffes, all of that. So yeah, safari type. But yeah, it's just, and also the people are just so much more welcoming and just loving, and just they want to pour out their love and everything. So it's just different.
Do you think being there helped you develop a diverse taste palette? Like, what type of things do you like eating? Like, what's your favorite foods?
Oh my goodness, it definitely has. I don't discriminate when it comes to food at all. I love all different kinds of food, and that really actually living over there helped that. They have great food over there, by the way. It's really good. Uh,
What's your favorite dish? One of them, just one.
oh my goodness. Okay, so they have, it's like a chicken stew, and then it has rice, and then they have chapatis, and it's like a thicker tortilla. It's so good, and they have like coconut beans. I could go on, honestly, but it's really good.
Have you had the legendary fufu by chance?
No, I have not, but that I feel like I might have, because they have something called ugali,
Oh, okay.
and it's made out of cornstarch, and they like just pretty much mix it until it's thick, and you can use that to like scoop up any like stew or anything like that. So it's really good.
Yeah, that sounds fire.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring them back just a little bit. You're a young kid moving back and forth between continents.
Yeah.
Where do your musical aspirations begin, and When do you begin to write? When do you accomplish your first song? Do you remember?
So when I moved back from Africa, it was the last time we moved back here. The first music video I ever saw, I can't remember what song it was, but all I know is Alicia Keys. And she was walking down the street, and I just felt like so empowered by that. And I was like, and it wasn't like, oh, like, I wish I could do that. It was like, I know I can do that. Like, and so I really feel like when I came back, I got the chance to really explore things myself. And so with the music, I definitely like dove into Alicia Keys, and yeah, it just really, I think, had a really huge impact. So I didn't really have a lot of like musical, I didn't wasn't really in touch with music until I got back that final time. So
Okay, so Alicia Keys is someone who gave you that push and helps you to understand what success might look like in music for you. Can you speak on celebrity culture in America and how much different it might be than the celebrity culture that you experienced while being in Africa? Like, are there any major differences?
yes, it definitely is. It's more of a, I don't know what the right word is, but it's more of like a, with celebrities here, it's like they're gods. I don't know. But over in Africa, I know for a fact that a lot of celebrities over there are way more involved in their community or in their, for example, here it would be the US. So they'd be way more involved throughout the US as a whole. And I feel like here it's kind of like, I don't know. They try to kind of treat them like gods, and they're still humans. They're still people.
Yeah, unfortunately, America gets that view a lot.
Yes,
It's like, we the wild, wild west to everybody else.
exactly.
Anyway, though, let's get back on topic. We've made it to your first song. Now, tell us about your early studio sessions. Do you remember your first ones or where they were?
Yeah. Actually, the first studio I ever recorded in was Charged Up at Noah O's. So, and it's crazy because I went there all the time. And when I had my daughter, I kind of fell off. But it makes me really wonder because he's doing amazing things out here in the city and just everywhere. And so it just makes me wonder where I would be if I had continued to, show face in that studio with my talent that I know that I have. So yeah.
Well, you may not have continued to go to that particular studio, but it looks like becoming a mother didn't really stop you at all. Yeah, so I want to ask, how do you balance being both a mother and an artist at the same time?
It's hard. It's definitely hard. She is my biggest fan. She loves that I do music. She loves to see me perform. She loves all of that. She wants to be a part of everything. She wants to be in my next music video. But it's definitely hard. It's a hard balance. Honestly, like I look at some other people. I'm like, I don't know how you guys are out here every weekend because I start to feel guilty, honestly, if I'm like taking time away from her to do music and things like that, even though at the end of the day it will benefit her in the long run. But it's definitely it's a hard balance.
Yeah, I feel the same. I run a company, and between everyone's videos, photos, and arts, there's always a deadline or a project to
Right.
complete. And I still
Right.
just got to figure out how I'm going to spend time with
Mhm.
everyone and make sure that also my clients get their things on
Exactly.
time. And, it's a crazy
Exactly.
balancing act between doing everything at the same time. So I can
Mhm.
definitely appreciate and understand how you feel as an artist trying to be a parent
Yeah.
and perform. So, with that being said, how does your daughter affect what you're willing or not willing to do within your artistry?
She honestly, she really inspires me to stay true to myself. Because I want her to see that in me. I feel like she's one person that, she knows me better than anybody else. And so I want to stay true to myself for her. And that's in music, what I'm writing about, the type of content, even sometimes even like the images that I put out, that's always going to be there. And she's going to grow up to be a woman one day and know that that was my mom. So it's definitely, she inspires me to stay true to myself and really consider everything that I do.
So, the majority of your music seems to be about relationships. What does love mean to Kayla Joy?
Love. That's a heavy question. Love. I think, I mean, love, I feel like it should be unconditional. I always go back to scripture when it comes to love. And it's like 1 Corinthians 13. It's love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self seeking, it keeps no record of wrongs. And then it's like, love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. So it's like, if you really step back and think of the meaning of each one of those things, like, that's what love should be. Whether it's friends, relationships, anything, that's what it should be.
How do you believe your pursuit of love and maybe even the falling out of it has affected your writing?
It's it's funny. It's definitely played a big part. I mean, a lot of my songs that I've written in the past few years have solely been focused on a certain situation. And I had to kind of go through the motions of, heartbreak and happiness and everything. And I really just put all of that in my music. So it definitely plays a big part. I feel like my niche is love songs, heartbreak songs, because I know it. So,
Okay, so you have a song out called Black Roses.
yes.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the creative process and maybe why'd you write it?
Okay, so with Black Roses, it's basically a song, you're in love, you can be blinded by love, and no matter what, all that person brings you is black roses. So it's just about that toxic relationship of that back and forth, not knowing what's really going on, but you think what's going on, all of that. So, I mean, past relationships was definitely the reason why I wrote that song.
Okay, so just how much toxicity have you dealt with, and do you even believe that you've had the true experience of love?
Yes, I feel like I have had the experience of love. I feel like I genuinely have been in love. And I've also experienced that same love turn into that toxicity. So you know, so much toxicity I've dealt with in my past. And it's helped me grow. It's helped me know what I really want. Know what I deserve, all of that. So, but I've definitely experienced some toxic people in my life. So yeah.
I feel like we soften the blow with the idea of toxicity, and what we're truly speaking on is abuse in relationships. Do you have any advice for anyone going through it, and does your music speak to the individuals who may be actively in an unhealthy situation?
Well, with the abusive situations, I have been through a situation, um, and that's pretty much what my new song is about. All I want, or all I know. Sorry, and it's, but it's from the child's perspective. So I've, been in situations where I don't want to subject my daughter to things. I don't want to subject myself to things, and it really shows you, like, growing up as someone who's seen that or someone who's experienced that, it can easily follow you into your relationships, whether that be someone you attract or yourself causing the damage. But so that was, it's hard to answer that question. So it's definitely been an experience, just kind of like reevaluating my whole life, I guess. And I'm starting to put that into my music to tell my story.
Okay, so now it's 2023.
Yeah.
Where or what's next for Kayla Joy now?
Now now I am headed, well, right now I'm just trying to work on, you know, writing. I'm trying to work on, just like I said, just creating new content for my music, just more real, telling my story. I'm not really performing right now because I'm just trying to focus on myself as an artist, and really let people know who I am. So that's what I'm doing.
There is sometimes a big stigma on performing live when it comes to a musical artist. What kind of advice do you have for the ones who don't know how to decipher when to put themselves in front of a crowd and when not to? And should they feel pressure to be on stage?
Um, That's hard to say because everyone's different. Everyone has different goals, but I feel like it's really important to, if you want to perform and be on showcases, it's really important to research that showcase, research the promoters, research everything about them, because if it turns out that it's not beneficial for you, then there's really no point in even stepping foot on that stage, because you put in the time, the money, and everything to create this music, to record it. But what's the point of getting on a stage where it's just you perform, hop off stage, go home, get up for work the next day? So it's really just important to respect your artistry enough to say no to certain things because they don't benefit you.
Okay, so I know you said that Noah O was one of the first people to give you a platform here in the city. And
Yeah.
he's also helped me on many occasions showcase
Yeah.
my talents from videos, beats, rapping, and whatever else. Who are some of the other Richmond natives who may have helped you develop your sound or turn you into the artist you are today?
Well, like I said, no O's a big one. Honestly, I'm honestly, okay, so I did work with Garnett Bolden a little bit. And he gave me a lot of insight on some things. I know he's doing big things right now. And then also, Rep, he introduced me to you. um, so he helped me out a little bit. But honestly, like, I feel like a lot of people see me, but they don't see me. Like, they see that I'm an artist, but honestly, I feel like it's just because they don't vibe with my music that they're not really like taking the time to invest.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're supported by your peers in the R&B community?
I feel like I am to an extent. I will be honest, I do see a lot of other artists supporting each other way more than they have supported me. And I'm not bitter about that or anything like that. It's just something that I've noticed. But I do get support. But I feel like honestly, if I was doing soulful R&B, doing a bunch of runs, like all this stuff, like it would be different.
I do think your sound is unique,
Hmm.
and I wouldn't go as far as to say your music is even devoid of the soulful aspect altogether. It just has a different approach to it. And it might sound strange to you, but your writing and delivery has the essence of something like evanescence.
Yeah.
I can't really explain it, but do you think that other
Yeah.
genres of music have rubbed off on you, and what might you classify yourself as?
Wait, I'm sorry, say that again.
Like, do you think other genres of music have rubbed off on you?
Oh, it's definitely played a part. Like, even when I mentioned growing up, I listened to Beach Boys and Beatles and stuff, and it definitely, you can hear it in my music that it's almost like a mixture of genres, like R&B and pop mostly. Even like someone was telling me, like, you sound like you could be a neo soul artist. So it's like I'm so versatile that it's hard to really like pinpoint me in one genre. I can't do that. Like, I can't box myself.